key element is basically defined as the element which is at the intersection of entering column and leaving row. So here in the first table, the key element is identified as the element that is at the intersection of entering column and the leaving row, so that value is 2. So therefore this 2 is called as the key element. So in order to find out the new pivot element values, this value which was at this position in the first table, the value which was at in this position in the first table is called as the old element, so I'm going to write it as 5 divided by the key element, so therefore it becomes 5 by 2. Old element is 2 here in this position and the key element is 2, so therefore it becomes 2 by 2. Old element here in this particular position in the previous table is 1 and the key element is 2. Similarly 1 by 2 here, 0 divided by 2, 0 divided by 2 and 15 divided by 2. Okay, so this is how the new pivot element values are calculated. Okay, now apart from the new pivot element in the second table and the subsequent tables, the other cells that is to be filled are called as the other elements, and in order to fill these other elements we are supposed to use the equation old element in that position minus its entering column coefficient and multiplied by the corresponding new pivot elements. Okay, moving on. So the old element here in this position is 2. I'm going to write this a few set of calculations here. So the old element in this particular position is 2. I'm going to write it here. Hope it is visible. Old element is 2. I'm going to open up a bracket. The entering column coefficient of this particular row is 1 from here, multiplied by the new pivot element in that particular column, so it becomes 5 by 2. So the value that needs to be written here is minus 1 by 2. Similarly, you're supposed to do the calculations for the rest of the cells. So I'm going to do one more. The old element here in this particular position in the previous table is 1, so therefore I'm going to write it as 1 here, minus the entering column coefficient of this particular row is 1, so therefore I'm going to write it as 1 here, multiplied by the new pivot element of this particular column is 2 by 2 is equal to 1, so therefore 1 minus 1 becomes 0. Similarly, the old element here in this position is 7. Entering column coefficient of this particular row is 1 and its new pivot element is of this particular column is 1 by 2, so therefore it becomes 13 by 2. Similarly, even for the RHS, similar calculations are to be done. Now to fill the other values in the third cell, the old element here in this particular position in the previous table is 1, minus the entering column coefficient of that particular row is 3, multiplied by the new pivot element is of that particular column is 5 by 2. So therefore it becomes minus 13 by 2. Similarly, for the rest of the calculations you are supposed to do, so the values are 0, 1 by 2, minus 3 by 2, 0 and 1, and the RHS also changes to, okay, so this is all the calculation that needs to be done on a repetitive basis until certain conclusions is arrived. Conclusion is arrived when we calculate the Z equation elements and we don't find any value with a negative sign in the Z equation elements. That is the phase which we say we have arrived at the solution, and the solutions are the values of the RHS equated to the basic variables which will be available here at the solution stage. So we calculate the Z equation elements here in order to find out whether we are supposed to go for the next iteration or not. I'll repeat once again. When we get all the values here in the Z equation as positive values, we declare that this we have reached the solution stage, and the corresponding values of these RHS equated to this basic variable is the solution. Okay, so here in this particular case, again, in order to find out the z equation values, 10 into 5 by 2 plus 0 into minus half plus 0 into minus 13 by 2, whole of these things minus or minus 2, so therefore it becomes a positive value. Okay, so similarly, the rest of the values here in this particular case, this comes to around 23, this is 0, this is 4, this is 5, 0 and 0. So as you can observe, I'll repeat this calculation of z equation once again. This 10 into 5 by 2 plus 0 into minus half plus 0 into minus 13 by 2, whole thing minus of the coefficient of this particular variable in the objective function. 10 into 5 by 2, 0 into minus half, 0 into minus 13 by 2, minus of minus 2. Okay, so I have calculated these values and found that all of the values among the z equation elements are now positive. So therefore we have reached the solution stage. The solutions are x1 is not appearing in the solution table, so therefore it becomes 0. x2 is not appearing in the solution table, so that it becomes 0. x2 is appearing in the solution table, so therefore it becomes x2 is equal to RHS, so therefore x2 is equal to 15 by 2. x3 is not appearing in the solution table, so it becomes 0. Regardless of what is the values of s1, s2 and s3, it will not make any difference to the objective function. So therefore in the objective function we know that the coefficient of the slack variables are all 0. I'll bring back the question now here in order to find the solution. So you substitute the values of x1, x2 and x3 in the objective function and get the equation. So therefore it becomes maximize z equals 2 into 0 plus 10 into 15 by 2 plus 0, that is x3 is equal to 0. So this is the value. This is the optimal answer for this question that we have been able to arrive at by using the simplex procedure. I will teach you the Big M method in the next video.